Hello, this is the 2019-2020 Debate Rules Clinic. My name is Donnie Drobny. I will be your facilitator. I am the head coach at Bora High School and the debate commissioner for 2019 and 2020. Here we go. Before we begin, it's important to discuss what this presentation is and what this presentation is not. This presentation is an overview of the most pertinent rules. It's a step in the certification process. It is not an overview of all of the debate rules. It is not an introduction to judging debate. It is not a substitution for a face-to-face judging clinic. And, unfortunately, it is not particularly exciting. Before you start, you should take some time to download, print, or look at a copy of the Idaho Debate Code from isata.org. This is different from the IDHSAA rules. The Idaho Debate Code goes into significantly more detail, more depth, and has more clarity for the rules. All judges must follow the Idaho Debate Code at both districts and state tournaments. Some general rules and regulations which apply to all aspects of debate. First, judges should not disclose their decision with debaters, coaches, or other judges. Ultimately, judges do not have the authority to disqualify a debater who has violated any of the rules. Judges may use a timekeeper, or debaters may time themselves. Judges should not provide any oral critiques after the round. Judges should not interject in the round for any reason. And judges should not stop the round except for emergencies and formal evidence violations, which we will cover later in this presentation. Additionally, prior to break rounds, observers must be affiliated with one of the participating schools. Once we hit the elimination rounds, anyone who is not competing is allowed to observe rounds. Scouting in order to acquire advanced information of an opponent's case is not permitted by anyone at any time during the tournament. Debaters may not use laptops to look up research online during the round. In Lincoln Douglas, LD, and Public Forum, PF, two debates are flighted or paired together to create a single round of judging. And remember, in any style, debaters may introduce new evidence in rebuttal speeches, but they may not introduce new arguments. Next, we'll look at some of the key rules of policy debate. Once again, this is not an overview of the entire style of policy debate, just some of the most common and most overlooked rules. Some key points to remember for policy debate. In Idaho, oral prompting is discouraged, but it is not expressly prohibited. Judges may use their discretion in deciding if they are going to penalize debaters for oral prompting. If you are going to do that, please make sure that the debaters are aware when discussing your paradigm. Each debater should act as the questioner and the witness during cross-examination. Debaters are permitted a 10-second untimed roadmap at the beginning of their speeches. These roadmaps should not be used to advance any sort of argumentation, just for organizational purposes. During the 1AC, the first affirmative constructive, the first affirmative speaker must present the affirmative plan. Topicality arguments and counterplans, if they are presented by the negative, must be presented in the first negative constructive. Next, we'll look at public forum debate. Again, this is not an overview of the entire style of public forum debate, just some of the key rules to remember. In public forum, there are no plans allowed. However, teams may offer positions of advocacy, which are more general than plans and lack some of the detailed specificity of a policy plan. All evidence, whether it is paraphrased or directly quoted, must include specific source citations. Each round of public forum begins with competitors flipping a coin to determine sides and/or speaking order. In Crossfire, Both opponents ask and answer questions of each other. And during grand crossfire, all 4 debaters may ask and answer questions. Please be aware that this year summary speeches and prep time have been increased from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Next, we'll look at Lincoln-Douglas debate. This is not an overview of the entire style of Lincoln-Douglas debate, just some of the key rules to keep in mind. In Lincoln-Douglas debate, the affirmative must present a value judgment in relation to the resolution. That same burden does not apply to the negative. The negative debater may offer a counter value and/or negate the affirmative position. In Lincoln-Douglas debate, the affirmative always speaks both first and last. In Lincoln-Douglas debate, there are no visual aids permitted, which includes showing charts. Lincoln-Douglas debate includes 4 minutes of prep time for each speaker. Next, we have congressional debate. Some key points to remember about congressional debate. Congresspersons receive points when they give a speech, although the questions and motions may be taken into consideration in the judge's final ranking. Questions and motions themselves do not receive any points. All Congress speeches, including authorship speeches and sponsorship speeches, may last up to 3 minutes. Congresspersons may paraphrase general philosophical arguments without evidence, but must follow the evidence rules in all other respects. Remember that Congress entertains multiple bills or resolutions in a single session. The presiding officer in a congressional debate should alternate, recognizing affirmative and negative speakers for each bill or resolution. The presiding officer may be awarded points while acting in their position. Next, we'll look at the specific evidence rules and violations. These get a little bit complicated and are difficult to remember. Tournaments should be providing a cheat sheet that has been made to help you remember this information. Remember, evidence violation procedure is used only when a student makes a specific, intentional, and directed allegation. Credibility, accuracy, and verifiability of evidence can be addressed in speeches without an evidence allegation. We have 2 levels of evidence allegations and violations: informal and formal. First, we'll look at informal evidence allegations. Within this, we have 2 distinct levels. A level 1 evidence violation is an informal allegation for incorrect or complete lack of citations, whether oral or written and visual, or incorrect or no textual demarcation, oral or visual. If this is the case, your role as the judge is to examine the evidence at your convenience and use it in your discretion in the reason for decision. For a level 1 informal evidence allegation, the round continues to the end without any sort of disclosure. And the ballot notes how the allegation, whether or not it was accepted, weighs into the ultimate reason for decision. A level 2 allegation is an informal allegation for inserting ellipses or failing to identify a straw or straw man argument. In this case, the round should pause while you, the judge, examine the evidence. The round ends immediately if a violation has occurred. If no violation has occurred, the round continues. The judge, you, immediately discloses whether or not a violation has occurred. If a violation has occurred, the round ends with a loss and 0 points to the accused or guilty debater. With no violation, there is no penalty to either debater or team. The ballot should note the decision on the alleged violation. and the decision should only weigh into the reason for decision if a violation has indeed occurred. Next, let's look at the more serious formal evidence allegations. These are also broken down into two levels, level 3 and level 4. A level 3 evidence violation is an allegation of clipping. In this case, the round will end immediately, and the judge will examine the evidence. The judge will then disclose whether or not a violation has indeed occurred. In the case that a violation did occur, the accused debater who has clipped evidence will earn a loss for the round and 0 points. If no violation has occurred, the accuser receives a loss and 0 points. The ballot should notate the decision on the alleged violation and which team or debater has received the loss and 0 points. A level 4 violation is a formal allegation of distorting evidence or non-existent evidence, which includes being unable to provide an original source when requested. The original source does not include the evidence cited. Evidence has been paraphrased and lacks an original source to verify accuracy, or a debater who declines to provide evidence in a timely fashion. In this case, the round will end immediately, and the judge will examine the evidence. The judge discloses whether or not a violation has occurred, and like level 3, if a violation has occurred, then the round will end with a loss to the accused and 0 points. A lack of violation will end with a loss and 0 points to the accusing debater. The ballot should note the decision on the alleged violation and which team has received the loss. Some specific key points on evidence rules. Some more specific evidence violation information can be found in Chapter 7 of the IDC. Remember, if a formal evidence violation allegation occurs, one side will receive a loss, depending entirely on the outcome of the allegation. Debaters must make all evidence, both electronic and hard copy, available to both the opponents and the judge in a timely manner when requested. Paraphrasing credible evidence is not a violation. Debaters are responsible for evidence on their laptops in the event of a power loss. Students who use laptops grant implicit permission for tournament officials to view the contents. Remember, citation errors, including not saying oral citations, are at the discretion of the judge. The next steps in the certification process are to first get the certification test code from your sponsoring coach. Then, follow the directions to complete the certification test. Please note this does include a small administrative fee. Finally, you'll need to complete your digital paradigm. The platform for this is determined based upon the tabulation software being used by the state debate competition. Some final reminders. Please use your local coaches as a resource to supplement this presentation. Remember, this presentation was not meant to be an overview of all of the rules, simply some reminders for key rules. If you are unfamiliar with any of the specific event rules, please view our specific event videos for more information. And remember, the Idaho Debate Code is available at isata.org. Thank you for your time.